Hello traders, this is Rich from TradeSite. This is going to be a trade review that we took today. This is for Tuesday, May 29th, 2013. What we did was we kind of went to the daily chart here in the GDX, which has a real nice setup in it. We've got a seeker exhaustion buy in place down here, which was telling us that the market here for the GDX had declined enough in price and also put in enough time to have a decent reversal and start to change character more towards the long side, away from the very bearish trading price action that's dominated this chart. So as soon as we got our 13 exhaustion in place here, here's a 13 with a green arrow under it. We're looking for a strong up day soon thereafter, and we did get that. Then we had this little 3-day pullback here. We had this 3-day pullback today, and gold this morning when we were surveying the markets was up a little bit, but not too much, which actually made for a pretty nice setup. So what I wanted to do was have exposure to the GDX starting to catch a bid and move to the upside. So let me change the chart here from the daily. I'm going to go down to the 5-minute chart. All right, so here's a look at the 5-minute chart, and you can see that there's a couple features on here. First one is we had this gap up this morning. Gold was higher in the morning, so oftentimes the GDX will just gap in that direction to kind of catch up with where the gold futures are trading. So a little bit of a gap up, so that's always a little bit tricky. So you want to get on board the long side. You've seen the 3-day pullback. Gold is trading higher and has the potential to even push higher still, especially with the weakness in the dollar index. The dollar index was down 0.5%, which is a pretty decent move. So you had the weak dollar also leaning in favor of long GDX or long gold. So what we did is I took a look at the pre-market chart. In the pre-market chart, you could see that there was a level set at about 2760. So I just wanted to kind of let the opening range set itself. So the first 5-minute candle here was actually fairly bearish. They did a little bit of wiggling back and forth here to maybe try and fill the gap, which is fine. Leave that open for them. But once the gap didn't really get filled, I didn't want to let this get away from us. So set the long trigger over 2760. So when the price here crossed above 2760, that's when you wanted to get long. We're taking out the pre-market high. We're in favor with what the dollar's doing, and it's also in sync with what the gold futures themselves were doing. So after a 3-day pullback, the stock right now is still marching higher. It's at 28.30 right now, which is a nice little gain on the day. Clearly in the money here. This is even something you can take home a little bit of if you want to try and keep a position and work around it. But this is just a good example of using the bigger time frame, which was the daily time frame, where we had the seeker signal telling us that the trend was ready to change, had a little 3-day pullback in that same time period, and then finding a technical entry to go long and profit from that. Well, as always, thanks for listening. This has been Rich for TradeSite.